spiritually curious? Do you believe that there's more to life than meets the eye? Or maybe you've had a religious upbringing and you're wondering what other possibilities there are, what other kind of material could seek for answers. Or maybe you've just been pondering the mystery of life and you don't even know where to begin. Spirituality is the meaning that you make about existence, the meaning of life, those big questions of why are we here? Who are we? And how can I live well, happily? You're creating your own relationship with God. You can use ideas from other people or other contexts, but at the end of the day, it's just about you. You and your unique idea, your unique beliefs of what you believe is possible and helps you to navigate life's challenges. How do you create an ideology that gives you solace, that empowers you, and that makes you feel good? It's my personal belief that all of us are God. All of us are aspects of the universe or the creator experiencing life and creation. It's life was created for God or the creator source, the universe, to experience itself. And so each of us has innately our own unique relationship with the creator as a unique aspect of creation. And so if you're just curious and you're wondering, how can I start? I don't know what to even begin with. These are 10 different topics that you can uniquely choose based on your interests and your preferences to explore and learn more about. And the purpose of these topics to help you begin to think critically, to generate more curiosity for you, to begin pushing the limits of what you believe in. If we don't test the limits of what we believe in, then we will not expand. Even with science, science is always seeking to explain the phenomenon of our natural world and leaving open the idea that there is still more to explore. When scientists conduct a research study, the standard is to seek whether or not the hypothesis is null. Does it not apply? Is it invalid? And if you can do this with your own beliefs, to have flexibility in what you believe in, this will not only leave you to have a happier and better life if you don't have rigid expectations about it can only be this or it can only be that. Critical thinking is absolutely necessary because so often we don't examine our own belief. We don't leave room to allow for the possibility of something that might fit better. So the topic number one is UFOs, otherwise known as UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena. I'm bringing up UAPs as the first topic because it's very current. And this is an area that for a long time has been, well, for lack of a better word, ridiculous. There's a lot of disbelief around UAPs and UFOs or extraterrestrials. And with this topic, there's a lot of different subcategories you can look into. You can research the various kinds of spacecraft. There's different books of interviewers who interviewed people who had been abducted. This is how my husband actually got into spirituality. He went down a very deep rabbit hole with UAP and spacecraft, and there are enough scientists, military personnel, Harvard professors that you may find yourself very surprised at how much evidence there is to support the existence of these things from people who have everything to lose by being honest with their conclusions and people who have very prestigious backgrounds, both in education and professional experience. The second topic for those who are spiritually curious is to look into near-death experiences or NDEs. There are entire channels on YouTube specific to this topic There are books. Life After Life was published in 1975 by Raymond Moody. This is the first, and not quite as current, but the first comprehensive guide to NDEs. You might also consider reading memoirs from people who have had a near-death experience. Two popular ones are Dying to Be Me by Anita Morjani and Proof of Heaven by Alexander Eben, who's a neurosurgeon who had a near-death experience and he understood what was going on. You'll find that a lot of the near-death experiences share a lot of similarities. You can listen to dozens and dozens of interviews of people who have had experiences, and there's so many parallels. And what's fascinating about some of these near-death experiences is that they have had corroboration of times when the consciousness was outside of the body in the operating room, still very aware of everything that was going on. And the person who was on the operating table, their consciousness, was able to see what the doctors were doing. And they had seen tools that they'd never seen before, but they could describe. And later, the doctors said that is actually what happened. And the description that the patient had while unconscious fit exactly what the surgeons did. The third topic is past lives or between lives and past life regression. Dolores Cannon is the most famous person who completed the research on this topic. She had thousands of clients. She was a past life regressionist for decades, and she documented and recorded the sessions that she had with people. And she began to find a lot of interesting things. There were several clients who, under hypnosis, they were recounting the details of a past life and they died. And Dolores was surprised to find out that the consciousness after the person died had experiences afterwards and in between incarnations. Otherwise, this is called between life experiences. She also found that some people were describing lives in other times, not just the past, but also what we would consider the future and in other places other than planet Earth. It's not just Dolores Cannon, there's other past life regressionists and hypnotherapists that have written books and recorded some of their sessions. And it can be fascinating to hear the thousands of different accounts of people who have connected to their experiences in other lifetimes. A fourth topic, though, is earth magic or shamanism. If you have a connection to nature, to plants, to animals, or if you're interested in culture, learning about shamanic earth magic could be a very interesting way for you to explore. So for earth magic, I recommend reading books by Alberto Villoldo. He's a clinical psychologist. He studied health and wellness and he anthropology, and he embarked on a journey to South America to study the shamans. And what he learned there completely transformed his path and how he wanted to approach healing work and teaching others about how to heal themselves. And shamans have had knowledge about our planet, our well-being, how to heal for centuries that are in alignment with the ideas of quantum physics. You may not know that the shamans have studied chakras and the aura. They just have different names for them, the energy wheels and the luminous energy field. And Alberto Villoldo has published dozens of books, both about shamanism and about the brain's biology or the body's biology. Ancient peoples have had some of these ideas about spirituality for centuries, and that it's not primitive, it's quite technologically advanced. And the fifth topic is energy, learning about the fundamentals of reality, how reality is formed, how we are all made up of energy, and how energy moves. Understanding the mechanics of reality can be a very good way to begin to understand the mystery of life and to have an application for it. I've spent some time looking into electromagnetic fields when I was guided to do that one day, and I had no idea really about electromagnetic fields, but it really supported my understanding at the time. I was looking into Kundalini energy, and it fits. So you can look up just energy and science, quantum physics, and also Reiki and energy healing practices. Number six, paranormal psychology. Carl Jung wrote his thesis paper on parapsychology. There are a lot of brilliant minds that have treated parapsychology seriously. Not just Carl Jung, but also the government. Project Stargate, MK Ultra, different governmental research projects that the government spent millions and millions of dollars on and are probably still doing today in projects that have not been declassified yet. You might be interested to learn about the Robert Monroe Institute and the program that Robert Monroe created to train people in how to use their consciousness to leave physical reality and to connect to non-physical reality. And there's different studies on telekinesis, telepathy, different psychic experiences. You might look into the telepathy tapes. It's the documentary about children with autism and studying their ability to communicate non-verbally. You might look up the gateway tapes. You can look at different research studies that have taken place or just people's personal experiences. There's a book called You Are Psychic, and it's written by someone who was previously in the military and the different ways that he used his psychic gifts while in the military and outside of it to support his life and to make life easier for him. The seventh idea is on miracles. This is, of course, a topic that will help you not only to feel inspired, but to push the realm of what you think is possible. This topic is a little bit more generic. This is a little bit more based on faith, reading anecdotes, hearing how people have experienced miracles, both in events that have happened to them and in phenomena within themselves that they couldn't explain, in the way that mothers, when their children are threatened, they have super strength. All kinds of miracles, from the ordinary to the extraordinary. The things that exist out there in this world consistently astound me. The eighth topic is angels and spirit guides. We're all energy, and there are billions and billions, more than there are humans on this planet. There are different beings that you can connect to all across different dimensions. And this is not something that's a gift just for the few. This is an ability that everyone has because we are all aspects of God. That includes angels and spirit guides. They are just participating in their experience in a plane that we cannot see with our physical senses. I say non-physical just to mean that they exist outside of what we can physically observe. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that where they exist is non-physical. It just means that our ways of communicating with them are not through physical touch, hearing, smelling, speaking, or seeing. But we very much can still communicate with these beings. And if this is something that interests you, it can be so helpful in your own personal life because you can begin to get guidance from your spirit guides who are there to support you, who have more experience, more knowledge, because they can see all of possibility, because they are not limited by the physical senses that we have to connect with the earth and all of the universe, not just the earth, but we see less than 0.5% of all reality. And there's a lot. The universe is very big, to say with my tongue in cheek, and it's expanding. The ninth topic is vortices and sacred sites. There are different areas in the world that are considered sacred based on the energy lines, the energy grids. These can be historically spiritual sites. Maybe you would investigate or study about the pyramids of Egypt or all of the temples and pyramids in South America, Mount Shasta. You might look into vortexes like those in Sedona. You could look up sacred vortexes near you or in your area, or spiritual or sacred sites. And it's interesting to find out how many different cultures had the same ideas, the same thoughts, even if they are far apart geographically. They were still living by the moon and the stars and the planet. Some of the advances to create these temples and the knowledge that they had still baffle people today. They don't know how they created these temples or how they knew how to design the temple in such a way. For example, in Egypt, in Abu Simbel, there's a room that had all four gods inside. And on exactly one day of the year, light enters into the temple and illuminates three heads of the god, but not the god of darkness. And finally, number 10, this one's kind of a given, but spiritual texts. You can look up Buddhism, Taoism, the Kabbalah, mystical Christianity, yogic texts, Iyengar, the Upanishads. There's Paramahansa, Yogananda, Autobiography of a Yogi. There's a lot of different spiritual teachers that you can read about their experiences or the history or the philosophy. There's quite a few books about quantum physics and how they connect or they fit with spirituality. There's books about quantum physics in Buddhism and quantum physics, other different principles. So I hope that you found this video useful, that you have some different ideas that you can explore that are offshoots of spirituality, and to begin to expand and open your mind so that you have more rooms to question your own beliefs and to make sure in your discernment process that you're choosing to believe what you believe in. A lot of the time, we don't question our beliefs, especially when they're given to us from a point of authority, and we don't even consider asking ourselves, do I really believe if this is true or not? And that's how this exploration and expansion can be really supportive to you, because you may begin to do this with everything. And it is my hope that you do so, that you begin to question every belief, every thought that you have, not in a paranoid way, just with healthy skepticism. And you may begin to even question thoughts about yourself. And this could be the healthiest way to have critical thinking, to no longer just accept the idea that I'm not good enough or that I am alone. There are many different paths you can take that all come to the same great truth that you're not alone, that you are precious, that you are a creation of the universe, an aspect of the universe, and you are more loved than you know. So thank you for listening. Let me know in the comments you have any resources, or if you have a different path to spirituality that you took, please drop it below and we'll talk soon.